What's up, everyone? I'm Mitchell SALTZMAN, and I am about to be joined by three very special guests to talk all about AEW. First up, he hails from someplace far away, claiming to stand at 6 feet, 7 inches tall, and weigh over 300 pounds. He is very nice, very evil, Danhausen! And now from Washington, D.C., the native beast, Nyla Rose!
Your band had the wall.
And finally, representing the Dark Order, Evil Uno!
Join the Dark Order.
So obviously AEW is getting their first video game in AEW Fight Forever. I got to play a little bit of it at Gamescom last year, and as someone who really grew up on those old N64 wrestling games, I had a great time with it, but I wanted to turn it over to you all and get your thoughts on it. Uno, how are you feeling about the game as we get closer to launch?
I'm actually very happy with it. I was also at Gamescom, and I had an extensive time with it because I was at the booth. And so every moment that we weren't actually doing interviews, I was playing the video game. And I've played some of the builds after since then, and it's very reminiscent of the old N64 engine games that everyone knows about. When I popped into it, there was a tutorial. I never read a single word, and I instantly knew the buttons. Like, left bumper felt natural. It had to be the block on move, and it was. Right bumper was on strikes. Everything that felt... It felt perfect to what I had played on the N64, and it just seems like the type of game that you can just pick up and play and have a ton of fun with. Sure.
There's even the thing where you hold down the block button when you're on the ground and getting up. You can kind of like
kneeling stance.
Yeah, you take that kneeling stance and do like a little clothesline. It's awesome.
Yeah, they have the tackle shoulder shrug as well. If you've played a lot of those games, that's all in there.
All right, well, you guys are here on IGN. We do video games. You guys do wrestling, and there are times when those two worlds collide in some non-traditional wrestling games. So we wanted to play a little bit of a game. I've got a series of clips from a bunch of games that feature some takes on pro wrestling, and we're gonna have you react to them and make up your own score from 1 to 10 based on really whatever you want. You guys can decide the criteria. You don't have to go on the IGN scale. You guys can just do whatever you want. So yeah, let's roll the first clip. Judas Effect.
Yes, Judas Effect.
Into
into a wall.
And that is, of course, from Yakuza 0.
Okay.
Let's start with Danhausen. What are you giving Yakuza 0 here?
6 7/8.
Okay.
There was no groin punching. So I didn't think it was quite effective. I thought it was okay.
I should have picked another Yakuza clip because there's definitely some great punching in that game.
Wow.
Plenty of it.
Perhaps next time.
What you got, Nyla?
With the fact of how bonkers that sequence was, Judas Effect, highly effective right out the gate.
Yep.
Follow that up with a German suplex into a brick wall, damaging the occipital lobe, then into kind of like a pancake slam on the concrete. I'm going to give that 5 holy S's.
Whoa!
That's a halo over some poop.
Those are ships.
Yes. So 5 holy S's.
Only 3 with wings, though.
Only 3 with, because they look like Dracula wings.
Yeah.
I'm not an artist.
Got it.
I
And
see,
Uno,
I
what
see.
did you get?
Well, your whole preamble was exactly what mine was going to be. So I went with don't do this to me out of 10. The Judas Effect is a pointed elbow to the jaw, and I would never want to take a German suplex in a ring, let alone against the wall. So, way to go, Yakuza.
All right,
you scare me.
It's only gonna get crazier from there. So
love it.
let's check out the second clip.
So that's like a judo throw.
Into a back body
suplex.
drop.
Belly to back
Okay,
hold,
okay.
belly
Into
to
a
back
German.
hold.
Good. I can't.
Uno's
even
probably
keep
not
up.
gonna like it because it's another German suplex.
There's a power bomb, big
Yeah,
swing.
yeah.
This, by the way, can make you tap out.
Yes.
Yes.
I know this.
Yes.
It's been established
Okay.
recently.
Okay.
All right, Uno, let's start with you this time.
Okay, so I reviewed the footage, and there's a lot in there. We've got a belly back hold, we've got a German hold, we've got a power bomb, but most effective of all was that better than Claudio's big swing out of 10?
Dang. He does a pretty good big swing, so.
He does, but not nearly as good as King, it would seem.
I like the release on it.
Yeah.
But yes, for all of that, big fan of the power bomb, as you know. For those who may not be familiar, we have a wrestler on our roster, Serpentico, bane of my existence. I just loved how that was all put together. I'm gonna give this a someone please do this to Serpentico out of 10.
Oh,
I'd like to also vote for that while we're at it.
I think we got a question about Serpentico later on, so it's a little tease to that.
I gave it 4 Bart Simpson spikes out of 5. This looks like Lester. I thought it was pretty good. So 4 out of 5.
Wow.
Bart Simpson's hair spikes.
All right, let's move on to clip number 3. Def Jam, Fight for New York. Now, the life bar says magic, but don't be fooled. That's actually Busta Rhymes.
That's what I was thinking. Oh man, if you hadn't said it, I would have.
All right, let's start with you. Uno. I'm very curious what you're writing there.
Well, you want us to review wrestling moves, and I think we have a more pressing thing to talk about. I'm pretty certain that guy died when his head hit the cement on that first move. Everything else afterwards, offensive. That's a corpse you're swinging.
Perfectly good corpse.
Oh yeah.
Waste.
And if he didn't, he definitely got an infection shortly thereafter from the pizza stain on that greasy box. I just went some Killer Instinct because that's what Busta Rhymes, Mr. The Rhymes, showed when he threw him groin first on the eyeballs on the greasy pizza stain with an ultra.
I think we should remake this game with Eddie Kingston in it.
You know what?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
I think he'd be the champion.
I think you got a pitch there. So right now on IGN, we're saying Def Jam remake with Eddie Kingston.
Great boy from New York.
Yes.
Slim J too.
From
Let's put
Yonkers.
Slim J in.
All right, well, that was fun. I feel like we got a bunch of Wikipedia entries for Bryan Danielson. We got a pitch for a new Def Jam game. But this is called FanFest, and we had some fans send in some questions. We were wondering if you guys could answer them. CrusherMania1592 says, for all, what wrestling game would you consider a huge impact of your childhood and teen years?
Oh, I played so much No Mercy 64 when I was young, and then eventually got a imported N64 so I could play Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, and that's the one I've been playing better part of 20 years now. Very, very big part of my childhood and my adulthood as well.
For me, I think we talked about this briefly, but Power Move Pro Wrestling on the PS1. Not little low key out there, but that was my kind of go-to for a while, and then eventually the No Mercies and things like that. But yeah, my little group of friends, we stayed on the wrestling games.
Danhausen?
Yeah, I think lots and lots of No Mercy with pizza. You do some pizza, you do some No Mercies. That's a pretty good time.
Some Smash Bros. 64 maybe?
Yeah, that's not a wrestling game now.
Yeah, but what kind of No Mercy party is it without Smash Bros?
GoldenEye too.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Nelson, I always pictured you as a Simpson wrestling guy.
I heard it was terrible. I never played
bad. It's very bad.
Never played it. Hit and Run, on the other hand, that's
Very good.
Great wrestling game.
Let's just talk about Hit and Run.
Remake,
This is what
Hit and
remaining
Run.
of the time.
Simpsons Hit and Run, great wrestling game. That's my number one.
There we go.
Yeah.
This is something I'm very curious about. At Runaway Rabbit asks, Danhausen, what is your favorite part of the Ratatouille game for the PlayStation 2?
The bonus games afterwards. It's like slides. You have to do slides. You have to jump to the next slide. You have to make sure you're jumping over obstacles. It is wonderful.
And this is the world that you want to live in as an NPC.
Yeah, there's like cupcakes and everything as a different type of level. Some's dessert level, some is spaghetti, some is soup. But it is a great time. Go out, get yourself a PS2, and get Ratatouille for the system.
All right. Well, we got one more question from Peter Jam at Illustrious Pete, who writes, besides Kenny Omega, has any other talent given input during Fight Forever's development? The AEW roster is full of big-time gamers, and your input would be super valuable.
So I know Kenny Omega is in the lead position for creative decisions on this game, and he's been very hands-on. Early on, when we knew about the project, he sat down with a lot of us on the roster. Yeah. I had several meetings with him, and he had taken down what I thought the game should be, what kind of stuff from newer games should we try to abolish from the systems. We had pretty heavy discussions on stamina bar systems and so on and so forth. Obviously, that was early on. It would be kind of silly to do it more recently. You don't want to switch a game this late in, but he definitely did ask for our opinions early on.
That, unfortunately, is all the time we have for today. Danhausen, Nyla, Uno, thank you all so much for joining us. We're excited for AEW Fight Forever. Hopefully you are too. And make sure to catch AEW Dynamite every Wednesday on TBS, Rampage on Fridays, and you know what? For all these guys, check out AEW Arcade on YouTube and Twitch as well. And for everything else, keep it right here on IGN. Bye-bye. Everyone is stealing my salute and I don't like it. I want to leave.